Hey, I'm Jeannie Jones.
And I'm Jordan Jones.
And we are entering
A World Gone Good.
That was the best intro I've ever had.
Well, hello, my name is Steve, and this is World Gone Good, the podcast where we shine the light into the darkness, or we find the light in the darkness to prove there is still good to be had. Follow us on social media. I dare you. I double dog dare you. Now you have to. On the Insta, we are at World Gone Good Podcast, and on Twitter, we are at World Gone Good 1. That's World Gone Good with the number 1 at the end. We will follow you back if you're good. Are you good? Then yes, you are definitely going to follow back. And since you're already on your internets and have them all revved up, why not check out our brand new website, worldgonegoodpodcast.com. It was handcrafted just for you by my best friend ever, Lisa. Go check out her handiwork. Go get some good. Okay, so do you remember a few episodes back when I had my friends Jill and Wendy on to talk about Buy Nothing? If you have no clue what I'm talking about, go listen to that episode after you listen to this one. It's in the episode guide of wherever you're listening right now. Here's why I bring it up. They have a podcast called the Buy Nothing Podcast, and on one of their shows, they featured this woman named Jeannie. I heard her, and I was like, we need Jeannie on our show. I don't know why. I just felt it in my good bones. I contacted Wendy and I asked her if I could get an intro, and Wendy was all, oh, yes, you must have her on. She does this thing at a Starbucks for charity. I was like, Starbucks, charity, two of my favorite things. I'm in. And then Wendy adds, and you must speak with her daughter too. She has her own charity. It turns out these two women are a good deed doing mother-daughter duo. Say that 10 times fast. I'll wait. Give it a shot. It's harder than saying, Susie sells seashells by the seashore. Remember when we used to say that all the time? Remember that? And remember the songs we used to sing? We don't sing anymore. Like, oh, Susanna, won't you cry for me? Dance for me? What the hell did Susanna do? I don't even remember. But I'm telling you, these two, they have this amazing good vibe. And I just felt it. I could just feel it. Jeannie and Jordan Jones each have their own philanthropic organizations. Did I mention that Jordan is only 13? I didn't ask Jeannie how old she was. I know better than that. This, my friends, is the story of two incredibly inspiring go-getters of good.
This is where we're starting. Jeannie Jones, this is the question to you. When do you sleep? I am reading your bio. Award-winning journalist, actress, producer, director, brand architect. We got to get into that. Award winner, NAACP Leadership Award for you for working with all your charity work. I see United Way. I work for the United Way Humane Society, one of my favorites, American Heart Association, actress, speaker, superhuman. When do you sleep? And then after that, Jordan, your daughter's here with us. So after that, Jordan, you think about this. Your mom's going to tell us when she sleeps, and you're going to tell us how much pressure you have in your life to try to live up to your mother's expectations of what she's done with her life. And go.
Well, you know what, Steve? Great question, and not as much as I need to. The thing is, I will say over the last couple of years, I've learned the power of the cat nap. So the whole, my alter ego, Kitty of the City, it all makes sense. I didn't understand it when older people used to tell me that when I was young. I'm like, oh, who needs a cat nap? But that has become my superpower. So because I know you can't be halfway as good as you need to be or best without adequate rest. So, but it's crazy being on the West Coast. A lot of clients and work I do is also East Coast, and they don't give a darn if it's like 8 there and 5 here. It's like, it's showtime, so I manage, but it also helps when you're passionate and excited about what you do. It makes it a little easier, and then, take the shot of caffeine and just keep going.
Jordan, do you feel a pressure at all to keep up with your mom, to live up to your mom's expectations, to tell your mom to slow the hell down?
It's actually kind of funny that you bring that up as a question, because when I was much younger, I felt a lot of pressure to be exactly like my mom. And I wanted to live up to everyone's expectations of the kitten of the city, is be like, oh, you're just like your mom. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate my talents and understand that whatever my mom does doesn't mean I have to completely follow in her footsteps, though she is definitely an inspiration to me.
Tell me about Kitty of the City. Where did that start? Where did that name come from?
Wow. It actually was given birth while I was on the air on radio in my hometown, Washington, D.C. I am an advocate for dogs, dog lover. And the only time I had a cat, well, it's been twice. I was younger. My parents had to give it to someone else because it, was scratching me up as a toddler. And then I, did segments on television in Washington, D.C., Humane Society type segments. And they even created a space called Kitty City. And so I was constantly, trying to get these cats adopted on segments. And it was this one particular cat named Maxwell. And I was like, you're not going to make me fall in love with you. But the cat locked eyes with me and said, you're going to give me a chance. I'm smooth, I'm sexy. And I was used to cats meowing and purring and hissing. But this particular cat, Steve, when I tell you, was the sexiest creature I ever connected with. I mean, the meows, you hear meow, but Maxwell's meow was more like meow. And it was smooth. And I said, oh, you are not seducing me. Make a long story short, the cat ends up coming home with me while I'm also the owner of 2 very protective Rottweilers.
Oh my God.
I said a prayer and for some reason it just worked out. And the cat even held his own with the Rottweilers. They were like, oh, okay, so you're going to be here. So we're going to work this out. So the cat would, with the same smooth hiss, didn't jump, didn't pounce, anything, just smooth, would wake me up in the morning. And one day I happened to be on the air. And a particular segment had to do with, I don't know, some artist that was coming to, be a guest co-host on the show later on that would happen to be a very attractive guy. And in the midst of me promoting and teasing that, I just said, man, ladies, when he comes straight meow status, yeah, a straight, stamp of approval from the kitty of the city. It just rolled out from a branding standpoint. When I heard myself say that in playback, I was like, you got something. And needless to say, that brand really catapulted me to top ratings. Jeannie Jones started not coming in the ratings. The program director was like, this kitty of the city thing. I mean, that's when all the liquor companies wanted to endorse me. And I was not only great during the day and on television, but my whole nightlife persona in hosting those types of events became a favorite for, of course, men. But then the ladies, really gravitated towards it. People would ask me, what is that, a sorority? This chant, but, to have little girls from, early teen girls to women well into their 60s, approach me and say, meow. I mean, that was just a term of endearment, a stamp of approval. I mean, it was massive. Nothing new about a cat or meowing, but I think it was the infectious way I would do it. It made everybody feel good. So kudos to Maxwell the cat, made Kitty of the City larger than life.
Isn't that amazing when something just comes out of your mouth and you're saying it and you're like in real time going, ooh, there's something here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You were quoted as saying you encourage youth to be the best they can be and elevate tomorrow's leaders. How does that apply to your daughter?
Wow, I'll let her elaborate more on that. But I'm a strict but cool mom. And
hold on, Jordan, true or false?
Very true. Very true. My mom is super hip, super fun.
And Jordan, wait a minute. Let's just do this really quickly. Jordan, how old are you?
I'm currently 13 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Go back. Jeannie, finish up. I'm not interrupting. Go ahead.
Okay. But I am very strict in the sense of education, being passionate and being very deliberate in, setting goals. And while you're going to have trials, tribulations, as life always does, I mean, you still want to reassess and figure out ways you can do better at whatever it is you're trying to do. I don't care what it is. And I'm really adamant with her about starting something and at least completing it. I'd rather you complete something and say, let me try something else, or I want to take a different route. But you're going to, understand that having that mindset is going to help you in the challenges you're going to face, and as you evolve anyway. So that applies from, like I said, that's from my mentoring program all the way to my daughter, and just live and breathe that motto every day. I'm proud of Jordan being 13, and this spring she will have already completed her first semester of college credit. So that's where all that stuff applies.
Wow. So Jordan, how at 13 do you separate your mom from being your mom and your mom from being this, good leader?
Well, it's actually kind of funny. I don't necessarily have to. As I sit in the car with my mom, for example, we just have such incredible life lesson talks. And as though she's like my mentor and my teacher, I can still see her as my mother, because that trait of parents being able to teach your child and educate them and lead them in that way, my mom already does with me. And so there isn't much separation needed, actually.
So Jeannie, you started a mentoring program and foundation that's been going for 20 years now.
I have always been passionate outside of media with educating and inspiring youth. Probably has a lot to do. Both my parents were educators, principals, college professors. So I'm sure that's where that spark came from. But, it's nothing more rewarding than mentoring somebody in middle school, and then they're in college and they, hit me on email or social media and say, do you remember this time back at such and such at a job fair, you said X, Y, or Z, or you gave me this shout out on the radio. That particular moment changed my life, saved my life. So it's really the foundation of everything that I do. So I mentor students from elementary through collegiate. Usually it's those students who have benefited from scholarships that I deliver, usually in performing arts, sports. And when I say, optional, it's just as long as it's something that they are consistent in, I'll also consider that as well. But passionate about sports, and I've come up in performing arts. So that those are two areas that normally are minimally funded, if not removed, unfortunately, out of school programs. But those are two areas that young people, especially going through the pandemic, aren't able to do as much, but they thrive through that. I always tell parents, even if it's not something they do career-wise, the skills and the esteem that, is inserted during those developmental stages in these programs in sports and arts, it stays with them long-term through adulthood. So, that's the main reasons why I do what I do, and why I know that these will always help children regardless of what direction they go into.
So just to clarify for people, a mentoring program, because I think people have different versions and visions of what they see that it is. And especially in a world of COVID, are you on the phone with people? Is it the kind of thing where you're texting? Is it the kind of thing where you're doing what we're doing, right now, Zooming each other? Or is it more one-on-one in person? Or is it a mix of all of it? And also, does it depend on who it is and how far along they are in the process?
Exactly. Everything you just said, it is a combination of everything, especially during the pandemic. I prefer being personable. We've worked to, do very well through Zoom. We didn't have an option, but it's been amazing. But all of those aspects, and depending on a student's atmosphere, how engaging they are, does play a main factor into just how much we do together. A lot of times I will challenge them after there's like an introduction about, things that they tell me they want to do. So I will constantly give them resources. I will set them up with other mentors and resources to move forward. And then we have these checkup sessions. It may roll around to an annual event that I do with LAUSD. It's the Young Women's Conference and the Young Men's Conference, where we have miraculously been able to Zoom with anywhere from 600 to 800 students at one time.
Wow.
No, yeah, yeah. So we're kind of we're so proud of being able to master this. So we will have mentors up to 50 to 80 mentors, and we'll go into these breakout sessions. So that's another resource. That's the full reward in 360 for me.
Okay, so both of you have so many projects, but I want to focus in on one for each of you. So I'm going to jump to you, Jordan. At age 4, I cannot believe this. At age 4, you started doing blessing bags. Tell everybody what a blessing bag is.
Okay, so basically, for minimal detail first, a blessing bag is when I create a bag full of healthy goods and feed them to the homeless. Now, in detail, a blessing bag is a bag, of course, and you put a message and a beautiful picture on the front, which has a lot of relation to God, love, positivity, and determination. I noticed something while I was driving around with my mom when we passed the White House, and I saw not too far away from the White House that there were people just sitting outside. And I asked my mom, Mom, why are those people sitting outside when that White House has so many like different places for those people to stay? And my mom had to explain to me homelessness and explain that concept of poverty and everything to me. And that just sparked me. It hurt me so badly as a young child to know that some people can't even like stay in a home because they can't afford it, or certain things have caused them to be homeless. And so I wanted to do something to help to change that. So little steps at a time, blessing bags can help to endure like health and keep determination alive in the spirit.
What's the reaction when you go up to a stranger? And are you ever nervous going up to a stranger?
Sometimes I do face nervousness because sometimes people would not like to be bothered. Sometimes people are not interested, but majority of the time, I usually just walk up completely fearless and I say, here you go, have a blessed day, anything on the lines of that. And so, no, not necessarily nervous.
Tell everybody what Blessings on the Beach is.
So Blessings on the Beaches, usually we have an event where we give back to the homeless, where we have different things like food, but not only food. We have clothes, cleaning products, etc. A lot of things like that.
And who's helping you with this? Is friends or neighbors?
Friends and family friends.
What would you say to anybody who has homeless in their community right now, how they can help that situation? Because so many people see it, and well, there's a portion of people who see it and walk the other way and don't want to see it. And there's other people who go, no, I want to do something. What would you tell somebody?
What I would tell someone is to see if anybody, like any local homeless organizations, to give back and help. And if there aren't any that are really local and that work for you, I suggest just taking matters into your own hands and doing what personally I do and this foundation does, is just making a blessing bag, just putting a positive message on the bag and making sure that there are healthy and nutritious treats that will last them a minute. And something like that, just give back.
Are there any essentials that have to go into the bag?
Well, the blessing bag does need to contain a message. Now, that is what makes a blessing bag a blessing bag. There is a written message on the bag, and then there would have to be some sort of uplifting drawing. And then for requirements, what's in the bag, nothing that's like fast food, basically. Otherwise, everything else is fine.
Jordan, can I be you if and when I grow up?
Thank you so much for the compliment. But honestly, I'm still growing myself, but I deeply appreciate those words.
You know what I love about it, though, is that you have combined in some sort of love of art and music and theater and creativity of your own. So what is it for you? Where is the passion there? Do you have a specific? Is it drawing? Is it painting? Is it writing words? What is it?
That is such an amazing question. For me, my art comes in different ways. I love to write stories. I definitely love to sing. Singing is definitely essential, and drawing as well. And I'm starting to get into different types of media like paint, gouache, watercolors, and different types of colored pencils as well.
Jeannie, jumping over back to you, you do the annual Camp Out for Kids where you, how do I put this? You squat in a Starbucks? Is that a nice way to say it? What?
No. Come on, Steve, not squat. I mean, I don't see anybody squat for toys.
No, you're living my dream. You move into a Starbucks. Tell everybody what this is.
Man, it's such a delight every year, and appreciate Starbucks for being a incredible partner for over a decade. What I do is when I'm able, originate in Washington, D.C., and then expanded out here to Los Angeles. I've several times will literally camp out, be there 24 hours. And my whole point to that is if within 24 hours you can't find the time between when you go to work, when you go home, when you're going out to a club, when you're going to do whatever, you can't do any form of donation, that concerns me, because you never know in life when you'll need help or when that would need to apply to you as well. I have an incredible time just meeting people who come through there, drop off whatever gifts or donations they have. And I usually have people in the community help me to stay up along with the Starbucks treats for 24 hours from musicians that will come in and gig, and especially later on in the evening to the overnight process, whether it's, like I said, musicians, poets, different people to have conversations with, celebrities, artists. It's just an amazing process. And then if I'm not spending the night, I for this year, incorporated so many people up and down Ventura Boulevard who came through and donated. Or people would just be coming into Starbucks to get their favorite frap or cup of joe and would be like, what are all these toys? And Jordan and I are dressed in, in our Santa, Miss Santa get-ups, and it automatically makes people feel good and warm. So they automatically come over. And once they see what we're doing and they read about what we're doing, they have oftentimes gone back to their homes to grab something that their child or something they're not using, knowing that something that they would toss out can likely be a gem or make somebody's Christmas day that is, would be unfortunate in foster homes or misplaced.
Again, where was the spark for this? You were in Starbucks or?
Well, where it started was, again, me being on air and my name being Jeannie, Jeannie's Grant Wishes. So that's where the name Grant My Wish. So a lot of times kids in Washington, D.C. would send me a letter of how they want their wish granted. So that's where the concept came from, just simply granting wishes. And then it rolled right into the holiday season to be annual. And then it just started to evolve where even some film companies and record labels would come and support and do a major, donation or drop a load of toys off, and it would really jumpstart the exposure that it got. And then when Starbucks came in, it was just, I don't know, it's just a match made in heaven. I usually will also challenge people and say, well, what can you do outside of your, four walls for the rest of the year? No matter how big, it didn't have to be a platform like this or have to be broadcast, but it's the little things. It's the little things. And you'd be surprised just how much of an impact it would make.
It's so great talking to both of you. We wrap these shows up with 3 questions, but before we do that, don't panic. The answer is we have to talk about one thing, Jeannie, which is you spoke to 2 of my closest friends in the world, Jill and Wendy, on the Buy Nothing podcast about a leather bag, I believe, or a leather satchel or a leather, some sort of bag, right? The briefcase.
Yes.
How did that come? How did you hook up with them? How do you know? Are you neighbors with Wendy?
Well, we are. The whole Buy Nothing community is so incredible to me. I've never been involved with such a Facebook group that is also acts as like a mentoring service, a support system, a happy hour. Oh my gosh, at any time, anything you need may be there, along with a new friendship. I mean, where do you go to get that? That costs nothing on top of that.
So we wrap up these shows with 3 questions. I'm going to leave it up to you, Mom. If Jordan can answer the first question, it's nothing scandalous, but where do people find you online and where can they follow you online? I know you can answer that, Jeannie, but you have to decide if Jordan's allowed at 13 years old to answer that. Go ahead.
I am Jeannie Jones, and that's JeannieJones.
At Miss Jordan Jones is my tag for social media.
Okay, ladies, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to ask 2 final questions. It can go back to anything we've already spoken about. I'm going to start with you, Jordan. It's a simple question. You don't have to say your mom is the answer. You can, but here's the question. I'm going to throw it to you first, Jordan. Who inspires you?
Darn it. I definitely say my mom. Like, it sounds very biased because like, oh, that's your mother. Of course, it's going to be your hero and everything. But my mom, I've seen her do so much. And earlier in this discussion, you've like read off the list of all the things that she's done. And I've always looked up to my mother at being a multitasker, always getting things done, and just being amazing at it. So definitely my mother.
Jeannie, who inspires you?
Wow, that's a heavily loaded question. And I would have to say 2 people. One is my dad, who's no longer here, Frank Jones, who, from telling me things that ring true to me every day. Like, if you find one friend in life, consider yourself lucky. And I'm like, Dad, I'm socialite. I mean, what do you mean? But as you mature and grow, you realize just what those things mean and how important in understanding the core of what's important in life. My dad, again, being an educator, a principal, college professor, just great. He was also great in so many aspects in the community. It's all of those things. And he always just stressed education and just making wise decisions for yourself. So he continues to be an inspiration for me. And I have to take the baton from my daughter and give it back to her because she amazes me in the fact that, a lot of people say, this is Hollywood. She can't be 13 to have accomplished all those things and knowing what she wants to do and to have, completed first semester of college before she finishes middle school. She's her own person, but she amazes me in moving in her own lane and being comfortable in the skin that she's in. And I know with the turbulent times that this Gen Z is living in, I'm just happy for her already. And she does inspire me because I can honestly say that, if something unfortunately were to happen to me today, I would be okay that she would be okay in doing what was best for her already at age 13.
And the final question that we ask all our guests, Jordan, I'm going to start with you again. It can go back to anything we've talked about, anything you want to say. It's not even a question. It's more of a statement that you just have to finish. It's really simple. Tell me something good.
I definitely, from this, something that was really good was talking about my blessing bags. I really like to spread knowledge about this. And even though I've been doing this since a young age, so my mom has helped me promote this a lot and help other people know. And so we can spread the awareness of this foundation. But I just loved being able to talk about this. So that's something that was good.
And Jeannie, you get to close the show. Tell me something good. Don't sing it. I can't afford it.
Something good is that we are here and still thriving and surviving through this horrific pandemic. We are learning to be good, finding ways we never thought we could to be even better. So just doing good, being good, and better every day is, what I will continue to live by, and appreciate this platform for spreading even more good news.
Thank you, Jeannie and Jordan, for sharing your good. You have the mother-daughter, parent-child relationship that is making this world a gooder place. Next time on World Gone Good.
They're dealing with the trauma and the challenge and all that stuff, but like you would see these glimpses of these just like, oh my gosh, that's who you are. Like when all this junk is finally wiped away, you're already amazing, but you just see this like deep specialness.
George Kenyon shares the good of being a foster parent, and also the good of his new YouTube series, George Tells Stories. And there's one more good that's really good, our entire conversation. So good that I'm not editing it. I want you to hear all of it, so get ready for a World Gone Good first. Until then, be good.